Now the hard part. So I've got my app built up, running just in dev right now. So everything is still working with the local test validator, and all of our on-chain program methods and changes are still just for local development. What I have currently on DevNet is my older program without any of these changes. So now, time to try to implement these changes for my front end. So it's been a while since we've looked at this code, but what is currently happening is, again, whenever a user connects to this app with a wallet, in my layout, I have this layout svelte component, and this is what we have, and it will do the connection to the network, which will then verify that I've got a wallet. The wallet store gets initialized, and an instance of the wallet store and an instance of the workspace store. So we have that, and everything checks out, and good to go. So typically what happens when you're dealing with, on test validator in the past, I would have the user first hit the setup, and so it will say, okay, and this is going to error because all my program has changed. So these methods and stuff that we're calling, things have changed about them. So for example, we see here that wallet SYN transaction failed, no prior record of credit. Okay, so that's a simple, I don't have a balance. So I click add one. Oh yeah, so Skeleton's made an update to 1.0. I need to make some changes. The toast notifications still show, but I need to update some of the something to make sure that they actually show the background colors. But that's a little issue. So here, I go back to my ledger, and as a new wallet, I try to set up and create a mint. Let's do this again. It shows that it's going to deduct some SOL from me. I hit OK, and I hit approve, and this setup will work. Okay, I have, if you recall, let's call it setup development for, So if you recall, previously we would have a handle create mint, and I have done a lot of work with this, but at the end of the day, when we hit setup development, it will first create the mint, which in this case is just a key pair that I pass. It will then create an associated token account with the wallet, and then it will mint some supply to that associated token account, and that's it. So what we have when we do this is just a generic mint associated token account. We make some checks, and right here what we have is just a key pair, and we use that to generate the new the new token. Problem with this, though, of course, is that it's a new token every time a new wallet connects. It doesn't persist. So what I want to do instead is initialize just one single token, which is now a PDA, right? So rather than, this is good stuff, nothing wrong with it. It worked in the past, but rather than messing with this, I'm going to keep this as setup development. It has its uses. I may come back to this someday, but more specifically, I need to create and initialize a new this new mint. So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm going to close this out, and what I'm thinking about doing is instead I just had my test, sorry. Ledger, yeah. This I want to close. If I do handle create dapp or handle where did it go? Token mint. Lordy. Ah. Here's the PDA. Here's derive. Ah, that's right. Actually, it's actually one of my first tests. So, because it's such a simple thing to do, it's all right here. So yeah, I have this one little, it's really just this will do it. This one line right here, because my create dappTokenMint, this again is deriving a PDA right away, and making the mint, using that PDA as the mint, not only the mint, the location for the mint account, but also the mint's authority and freeze authority and whatnot. So super convenient, as you already know. So really, it's just this one line that needs to run, and after deploying a program, I basically need to do this, and that's all. So in essence, what I could do back in my my setup is I have all of this, handle create mint, what yada yada yada. I could, instead of this create mint, I could create a separate function just called handleCreateDappTokenMint, which is really the same thing. So what I'm going to do is, let's do, what kind of stores do I have? I forget. It's been a while. Ledger, token store, TokenMintStore. I believe I was using this somewhere. Not entirely sure. Not entirely sure where. I may come back to that, but yeah, I think what I'm going to do instead is, if I create another helper, it's literally this line. That's right. I don't have the program because we're now into the client, but don't know if I need that. I'll try it. Yeah, I'll try it. So workspace program ID, make sure that it's the actual correct. And then really, I don't even need anything else. I just need the get workspace store. Yeah. And program. And that's that. So this is old approach using key pair for Mint. And this is the new approach, okay? Now this just initializes it. And so what we could do is, I believe on chain, I have, create dappTokenMint. This is the instruction, right? Here it will derive everything. It's not a state account. I'm not doing like a Dapp token manager. But that said, let's do Mint, dappTokenSupply. Yeah. Okay. So if this is all that we have for to create this new dappTokenMint, there really is not much else to do. I guess I could do a quick little here. I could space provider. What I could do, and then here is the dappTokenMint. Now, okay, here's the idea. What I could do, how to save, I mean, we're just initializing this once. So I'm wondering if I can, how could I see, because basically after I initialize and do this one time, I just need to save the dappTokenMint, and at the very least its address as a constant, and that would suffice, really. I was thinking about using, I could maybe dump it into a store, but maybe if I need to. But again, a store is going to be, you have like an instance of it, it won't persist. So it's like, I may consider that or not. Let me see if I go without this for a second. And let's just down here, rather than running these, I just wait, the handle create dappTokenMint. Now with that going, the validator, let me clear this out. I think, actually I don't even know if I need that. This is running, that's running. Let's do Solana logs. And now, if I come back over here, when I click this button, it's going to run my setup instruction, which right now is literally just that one new initialization. Okay, it's deducting some SOL. I hit OK. Approve. No. My changes have not been saved because it's going through and creating a new, it didn't. Let me shut down my server, my front end server, and show the changes. Okay, so I swapped it over to the dev, npm run dev, so the Vite dev server instead of the preview, because I'd have to rebuild and all that. It performs better with preview after building, but we'll just deal with dev for now, so we can get the quick saves and reloads. So I need to get some supply, airdrop some Sol, and then I go to the ledger. And now my changes should be implemented because I've just I saved and reran the server. So when I hit setup, this should be initializing the token account, the one and only. Okay, and I don't have any sort of notifications going on there. And my logs aren't showing. It shows a signature, but yeah. So let's try this again. Oh, wait, hang on. Something showed up. Just I was about to error with token setup. Transaction expired, timeout error. Transaction was not confirmed in. Okay. So it didn't work the first time around we wanted. Which seemed to be obvious. But if we export setup development, this is the only function that it's going to do. It's a promise. It's going to run. We run the method. Okay. I don't need this. Okay, let me try this. Let me go back and use what I've done in the past. Okay. Okay, so I guess I still need to do, since I'm going to try to grab it so I can look at it in more detail. Anchor and the mint will get created, and the seeds and bump and all that is there. However, if I want to access it from the client side, I need to derive and access it accordingly. So let's see, type as anchor. We've got the SPL token and the Web3 packages. So if we don't use that, we can do, I think we can just do so Web3. What did I input or import? I think just directly public key. Yeah. All right, cool. So public key, find program address, the dappTokenMint prefix. For now, I know that it is the dappTokenMint along with the program ID. Well, the program ID, same thing. We need to use the workspace store program.program ID. Okay. Oh yeah, and it doesn't like that, so I can do as web3. It's not its favorite, but it at least works. So we have the PDA address. We put the transaction. I don't really need to do it like that. I can just await it. I don't really need the transaction here on local net, like localhost. And then current dappTokenMint. We have a couple of arguments, yeah. So let's do it needs the provider. So again, workspace store, provider connection, and then the dappTokenMint PDA, yeah? Let's pull this down. And it's complaining. All right, so anchor has this connection. Can I do that? Don't normally type it or cast to a connection type, but yeah, okay. And I'm not using the bump, so I really could just do something like that. All right. Now, at the very least, and it may not work, but here we are. We're trying to rerun this. So if I go back over here, I'm not sure if I've reset the validator. And I need to go ahead and rebuild. And I've got to rebuild them all. Since I've got the base program has the stuff to sign a basic transaction or sign a message, and then also perform an airdrop, an airdrop sold to the connected wallet, yada yada yada. So now that these are built and deployed locally, I can do Solana logs. So we have that going. And the front end's going to look like crap because, again, the rebuilding and all that is going to cause some issues. Okay. Yeah, see, this is kind of like caching. I got to figure out. Sometimes when I do this, it will cache like what was this wallet's balance from DevNet. But if I look in my extension and I go to settings here for Solflare network, it shows localhost. So for some reason, yeah, so then like if I go to basics and then I go back, or no, I think I got to go to a different program, Ledger, which is a completely different program. So it kind of resets something, and I come back and now I've got 0. Why that works, or why that's the case, I gotta track that down a little bit. But mint some supply, go back to Ledger, and here we are again, same kind of thing. But I've made these changes to my setup method. So if I hit setup, here we are. It's showing deduction. That's cool. And that's it. Nice. Okay. Super cool. So I'm not having to sign multiple transactions and approve like 3 different transactions, because I've greatly simplified this setup. Where did I have it? Right here. I mean, really, like all of this, everything below is no longer needed. Like this is all just old. I really could say like old. Now, granted, the final call is down here when I export it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. Oh, I saved it. Hot module reload. But so this is cool. My validator's still running. If I come back over here, go into the ledger, connect my wallet, like I know this is kind of misbehaving a little bit. But if I go to my logs, I probably have somewhere after the reloading. Look at all these errors. I may. Yeah, let's see. Token mint created. Program token mint. So like the instruction went through and we saw, but then silly me, I did not save the damn address, and I did a change, resaved, and then it wiped it out. So let me do this one more time. So I've rebooted the validator, which completely wipes out all the PDAs, reconnected, minting myself some supply, going to ledger, hitting setup. It's prompting us, it's gonna pay, we're paying something. Let's hit approve, goes through, token mint created, yay. And this is our PDA. And here in my logs, current Dapp token mint. It's right here. Freeze authority, and is initialized, mint authority. All of these I know from testing, look, and it has 0 supply currently, but I know from testing that this Dapp token mint, this PDA 3TZ yada yada yada, is the location of the mint itself, so its address, as well as the freeze authority and the mint authority. So that's cool. Now, if I were to, so first things first, like this setup works. I no longer, at this point, and what I can do is, for now, I mean, this is like validator stuff, so it's not, I'm not going to save. But this is the token. This is the address. So first step is done. Like we can initialize this and be done with it. So really what I could do, and especially once I deploy to like DevNet, like a persistent chain versus, or a cluster versus locally, then what I would do is find the I think it's this ledger page svelte, yeah, and we have the setup development. So this thing right here, this button essentially could go away. So it's kind of like I could add a visual, something, like could add like an if block where I have some sort of, global or whatever. Actually, I don't even need to. I run it once and then I remove the button, basically. So regardless of like that's not a challenge, because basically once I initialize this mint, it is now officially good to go. What needs to change next is how my create ledger works. And that's because we're now minting when we create supply. We are also going to need to mint and whatnot. So if I go to my handleCreateLedger, yeah, here it is. This is my existing code that I have on the front end. So we make some checks on the wallet in the workspace, and right here this is my next step is replace with the new PDA. So that's what we need. That's one part of it. So, and then when we're doing the actual transaction, the token account, this will now be it will be replaced with the PDA, and very much would look similarly to my existing handleCreateLedger here in my test, where I actually derive the ledger's PDA as well as its token account. So if I did that and I came over here, here's the ledger, but I also need to using PDA for ledger token account. And so something like this. I have these helpers obviously from the test, but this is essentially, I need to do the same, yeah, but for the PDA. Now, why do I need to do it? I don't have to pass these really to this instruction as an account or anything. Ledger will initialize and do that. I've verified that, but down below, when I'm trying to grab the updated ledger account, I need its PDA. If I want the token account balance, if I want to grab that, I also need its PDA. So this should not take too long. So I'm going to start with, let's go ahead and change this up. We'll do ledger, rather than ledger PDA, we're going to do ledger token account PDA. And rather than bump, or PDA, we'll replace that with bump. And the seeds are a little bit different, obviously, for this. So let me go back to my test. What did I do for? Ledger, token account prefix, and the ledger's address. Okay, we can do that. So it's gonna be ledger and obviously the same. Let's split this real quick. Head up. And we have this prefix. Try that. So this, I think I literally just call it ledger token account. Let me double check that. Yeah. Okay. So then we have the entry. Yeah, so now let's just close this window. Okay. I created helpers with my tests. I don't think I need to bring those in to this in this case, but yeah. Now Ledger PDA, this one would be our new Ledger token account PDA. We are no longer signing because this is not a key pair anymore. That said, I think I don't need to have any signer on that. If I go back down to and you can see, and for now I'm going to simply pass I'm going to pass all these accounts on the front end, just to, baby steps. I don't need to mess with seed inference. I know is enabled, but I want to make sure that, it works correctly. So I can pass all this stuff, all the accounts that are defined in the account validation struct. That said, once I know that that works, I could remove these and confirm that it still works as it does in my test. But yeah, it just really simplifies it overall. Like you just need to ensure, and at least for my testing, I only needed to pass the authority account and sign with the wallet, and that was it. So super easy. I'm going to go ahead and grab the code that I use for this. So let's see, workspace, program fetch, Ledger PDA. Actually, that's okay. And actually, I don't need to grab that at all. I already have it. The Ledger token account PDA. And that should suffice. Now, one thing that I am doing differently is minting supply inside of this helper. So handleCreateLedger, closing the ledger. Yeah, it's been a while since I've looked at this front end code. It looks a little bit better than my old original tests. But one thing I could consider doing is these verify helpers, probably not going to, obviously that's going to change a little bit. But what I could consider is adding, I don't think I had anything for handleMint. Yeah, I don't think that's something that we just didn't do just yet. It was part of my old code. So if I add in this helper, and we're going to get lots of complaints. I'm trying to think, should I oops, where did that go? handleMint. Oh, I went to the wrong file. That's why. Hang on. Where did that go? So handleMint. Let's take this, and I'm going to comment this out for now. Baby steps. And I understand that you're seeing these updates, and it's just blowing up on the front as I make and save my changes. But bear with me on the. I think I understand why when I initially, it's kind of cached and it shows my DevNet balance for this wallet. I believe it has to do with possibly some of my other programs, because this is running multiple programs behind the scenes. There may be something going on with one of my, like the default program is pointing to DevNet still, or I have like the wrong program ID for it in my anchor toml. So I need to look at that more. But now that I have, it still has unbalance, we can go back to ledgers. I have a token. We've kind of seen that initializing this mint is easy. What I would like to try is, can we create? It won't work. I don't believe this would work if I use, I mean, maybe it will. I'm not having to mint supply. And again, my methods, my instructions are separate. So I have a separate create ledger and I have a separate mint supply. So perhaps this will work actually. Invalid. Oh yeah, token mint. Right. Okay. So TokenMintStore address. Okay, so it's been a while. What was I doing with this TokenMintStore? And where did I use it? So I'm setting something here. So let's look at this. So here, in my development. I see. So what I could do, you get the data here. Okay. I could do the same thing. So here I was using my new handleCreateDappTokenMint. And until I get on DevNet, I'm still going to have to use this. And when I boot up the validator, each time I'll have to reinitialize because it's a completely different. But essentially, we'll get to on DevNet, whenever we initialize, we get the mint. And then what I'm going to do instead is we'll use this TokenMintStore to TokenMint account data. I'm going to call this it's actually the current Dapp token mint, and that's its address. Really, actually, it should be its address, but it really could also just be the dappTokenMint PDA variable. And then this is the actual mint account. So I used this in the past. I'm not going to change this. I'm going to make sure that that is, I had my reasons. And this is, using Svelte stores are super helpful. Obviously, I'll make this a little bit more of a global once we are dealing with, a persistent cluster like DevNet. But yeah, so with those changes on the front, let's go back. It's going to complain, reconnect. See, ledger and back. Yeah, there's something about toggling because as my workspace toggles, that's what's happening. I feel like my overall workspace is, and I can take a look real quick, slight detour, but my layout svelte here, there is something here about my So I have a constants in the high level, but I also have a constants for each, like in a constants file for each. And my hunch is that, yeah, here it is. The network is set to devnet. Yeah, so let me find, what's the, I'm just gonna update that. That should do it. I knew something was going on there because every time I land on the main page, it's bouncing to a different oh, hang on. Bouncing to a different cluster. Okay, and yeah, after reconnecting this time, it just jumps straight to the correct cluster. So I don't have to do this toggling back and forth. That was getting annoying. So we've now have the token store. I have not shut down my validator. I believe we should have a valid where was I? Here. Yeah. For my accounts. Originally it's pulling from what we have in the TokenMint store. Yeah. So after those changes, ledger name, signers, this won't mint supply and stuff, but baby steps. Let's try again. So Solflare 1. If I hit create, token mint not provided. Oh, yeah. That's because I actually have already created the token, and I didn't, when I did it the first time, it did not, obviously it didn't do any, it didn't set the store, right? I just went and saved the changes, but I actually had already initialized the token, so that would do it. Once this is done. All right, now I got this back up. So well, what happened? I see, it's popped up. So back to here, and because I've rebooted the validator, we've got to go through, oops, it's popping up in another screen, 1 second. Approve that, and we have this dappTokenMint PDA. This should be set up correctly now with the TokenMintStore, so that we no longer have this error pop up as a mint not being supplied. So now, get lucky. Here we go. Have a sold transaction with some funds. That's cool. That's cool. Obviously it failed. Signature verification failed. handleCreateLedger async. I mean, I know this is not going to work right away because we've got, when we make these changes to the program, it's bound to have some issues. Okay, signature verification failed. I encountered this before. I believe what's happened is signature verification failed. Obviously, something's wrong with how my setup is. So let me show you. On SvelteKit, I'm using the workspace store and the wallet stores, right? We've been doing that this whole time. that store built in the layout svelte file of our route. Just the way that it's used, it requires the IDL, but the IDL must be the JSON file. In my test, Anchor will automatically generate the TypeScript type for my program, so the ledger with all of its types and stuff. But I think what's happened is this IDL is old. So if I split and we go here, I have, in the past, I've used this copy IDL script. So I've done a lot of changes, but I actually haven't updated my IDL, the JSON files. So all that's to say, this workspace store, what do we call it? The Anchor connection provider. This component is part of that library, takes the IDL as a JSON file, and that I have not ported over that, the latest changes. So I'm pretty sure, because when I was looking at that IDL, the JSON file, it had old field names and not the changes. So therefore, the signature is obviously not going to match with what the this Anchor connection provider has, So I think that's part of the problem. So if I go back to, oh no, not the page, but just let's do this one. This workspace with its program and methods should have the correct types and everything correct, to correctly build it. I don't think, I have not shut down the validator, but I would be surprised if I let's just completely refresh. Then maybe when my app is built and I connect, again, I'm going to fix the little pop-up visual, but if I go back to Ledger, perhaps that will reset the wallet store and workspace store. I should still have Soulflare 1, the TokenMintStore, I hope. Okay, it's showing a soul deduction. That's encouraging. Hey, yeah, and it worked. See, current ledger account. We created one. I called it Soulflare. Entry count. There's 0. It's got a bump, and the token account is now a PDA. So just like that, yeah. So it was an IDL issue. Because of the workspace store, as I mentioned. But yeah, so this is looking good. Again, not a whole lot of changes. I could go in and test out and, like I said before, everything I could remove and just pass the authority, and that would work. Because a lot of the stuff is derived thanks to our create ledger, this validation struct, right? Even the mint is really derived. So I don't technically have to pass those accounts, and I can test that out. But we can successfully initialize a mint with the setup, and now I can create a ledger. Next, I want to test out the ability to mint some supply. To get the token mint, I've already brought over the helper from my test. So this handleMintDappTokenSupply, I went ahead and just copied that over, uncommented it, and then what I removed the whole verifying of like balances afterwards, because that's part of the test. I think I've got that over here. Let's see. Oops. Let's see. Test. Ledger.ts, this one, yeah. So if I look for handle, yeah, this right here. So again, we went through, and I was using this kind of total mint count to keep track of how much a particular, how many mints, and that's still something I need to resolve, if I need to resolve it all. But other than that, we had these other two helpers, mint supply and whatnot. I just copied that over to my page.svelte file and got rid of those other helpers. And then for now, I think I'm just going to ignore this total mint issue. Like I said, I could address this by creating another state account or something for a particular. So anyway, a state account may help resolve that if I need to go that direction. I do have this TokenMintStore. So one thing, if you may recall, it's been a while, but I have these stores, ledger, and I went ahead and just renamed it to the dappTokenMintStore. And all it is, as you know, I've been using that, but all it is address and mint. I could maybe add like a little helper on this where it kind of perhaps keeps track of, does a fetch on chain and then filters and processes. Is a bit much in my opinion, but something to consider. So anyway, I have this handleMintSupply, and I've updated it using the stores in the wallet store and to go fetch this. I do know that, per the testing, some of these accounts I don't need to pass because they'll be derived, but we're going to keep them for now just to make sure that it works. And then so basically after a successful handleCreateLedger, at the bottom, if it gets through all of that, then essentially here we are. I can handle this mint, dappTokenMintSupply. So that's where we're at. I've rebooted, and I did find out that Skeleton updated some of their classes from background to being like error or warning to use the variant filled warning or variant filled success. So you'll see here if I right, this one. So I went ahead and updated that, and now that was the only issue. So now when I, for example, here we are, we get the presets again. So if I go back to Ledger, I've just rebooted. I need to again mint or create the dappTokenMint, and that works. Need to add a success toast for that, but here it is. We have the same derived PDA, and now if I do solflare 1, we've been able to create the ledgers, but one of the things I needed to check is whether or not my account gets any sort of token after we do this. So I wanted to mint supply. So let's try it. This will be creating the ledger. That's ledger successfully approved. Yeah, check this out. I get 10,000 sold. I get this token, 10,000 of them approve, and we're good. So that worked out well. That worked out really nicely. Now, one thing that you'll notice is that my I'm no longer getting a list. My table is not updating in the UI, but that's pretty cool. If I wonder if I go away and back to Ledger, yeah, nothing's getting displayed. So that's an issue. But that said, I mean, that worked out quite nicely because it's doing the mint as we need it to. And now in my wallet, we can see the 10,000 tokens. And this right here is I believe it's maybe the associated token account address, this 4C6. So I wonder if I go look at the logs. Oh, we're getting some issues here. Okay. Associated token program error. Ooh. I've done quite a bit of different. So let's see. All right, so yeah, so something's happening. Document reference error, document is not defined. This is probably what is the issue with why it's not rendering after I create a ledger into the little table that's supposed to list them out. So let me check this out. 89.4. Let me go over here and close this. And then 89. Rerun. Cookie does not match. I don't know if I'm getting any. I don't know if that's the issue. So let me look at this for a second. Okay, I think I'm making progress. So I think what's going on is that my data loading is broken a little bit since my changes. So if I go back to my handleCreateLedger, you may recall, is handled through a form action. So what happens is after the form action, there's an update. So right in here, we use the SvelteKit's use enhance and then built a kind of a progressive enhancement custom submit function. And what I have is it's grabbing and performing the handleCreateLedger. Once it's successful and all that, it's supposed to run an update, and which will run SvelteKit's invalidate all, which will retrigger all the load methods that are load functions, data loading functions that are used for this particular route. So this is my ledger, page. So yada yada yada. What I mean by all that is when this is my layout. Remember, I've done tons of stuff on data loading, so I'm not going to go back through it, but this is the layout.ts file, and I have rebuilt my anchor program where I can use it to fetch, and I perform a accounts filter. Yeah. dataSize, I think what may be happening here, and I don't know if I really need the dataSize filter, but I do think what's happened is that I have not updated this ledger account space. Again, the whole point of this filter is, for example, when a user connects their wallet, they already have existing ledgers. It's going to do this data fetch, but it's going to filter based off of the connected wallet. So that way it only displays the ledgers that are associated to that wallet. So that's kind of what we had. I believe my dataSize, this account, I've got it as a constant 161. This is a terrible way to keep track of it because whenever I make changes, this is not easier to change. If I make changes to my program, particularly my ledger state. So if I go, let's find state and ledger. If I go back and look, I've played around with this stuff. I feel like I may have added token account length. You know, there may be some things that I've made and I forget, to be honest. So I kind of feel that regardless, whatever has happened is the ledger layout.ts, this particular search and filter, it's not working. It's coming back. Is it not here? It's in my server logs. So like, if we go back in here, I feel, here it is. There's some couple other errors I've got to address, but particularly with this, my data, this LayoutLoad ledgers from client with anchor, that's exactly what I have here. I return that. So, yeah, essentially, this is coming up empty. And it could be a matter of my account space is changed, or maybe there's something else. I believe I could possibly comment this filter out, save my changes. This is going to obviously throw some, it's going to complain. But if we connect my wallet, go back over to ledgers. Yeah, see, that was it. Soulflare 1, Soulflare 2. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, what do we learn from this? Always be thinking of like how to make your program easier to change. Like these constants, on the front end, on the client side, I'm kind of manually keeping track of the account space. Not a good idea. And also, though, and I think part of Anchor, and just again, how it helps development, if I rebuild this program object, the Anchor program here, then it's based off of my IDL, which it has all the details about all my various state account types and such, and including the space. So I really don't think this data size is necessary, because whenever I perform this call, I'm accessing the program specific to my latest IDL, and I'm grabbing the ledger account right here. So it knows, based off of the struct, the account space. So yeah, this was the problem. And so I'll put a little note on here. So that's essentially, oops, I saved again. But that's the issue. So if I go back, we reconnect. Yeah. Go to ledger. Here we are. Now, in theory, as it used to work, we'll do Soulflare 3. Now, again, this is a whole new ledger. So again, every time we create a new ledger, we also mint 10,000 tokens as a supply. But because we're using SvelteKit's form actions, after the action result, after the validation gets checked, which is really nothing, if you recall, I'm not doing much except for, well, let me show you. If I do like a one letter, click submit, yeah, we have the pop-up failed to create ledger. Here's a little warning, or for us. So instead, if I do Soulflare 3, hit submit, it's going to submit the form action. After it's successful, we have that SvelteKit update, which triggers the invalidate all, which again will trigger all the load functions. Well, here it is. I'm getting my load from the layout.ts right here. and it's this load function. It's going to run. Okay. So thankfully, thanks to SvelteKit, it will re-trigger this. Now, I didn't change where the authority pub key is at in the ledger state account, so it should work. So if I click create, we get prompted, we're creating the ledger, and then that's successful. And then here I'm getting another mint supply. Boom. Yeah, submits, and here we are. My third ledger has been created. And so let's see if I can view. Okay, let's see. There's going to be some things I haven't. There's just so much to keep going on here. But let's say I try to add 100, and I'll do entry 1, create entry. This may or may not work. Okay, deducting 100 from me. Okay, yeah, I don't think I did any changes to creating entries, if I recall. So that's good. Let me see if I can modify. Oh, okay. Here are some things that have changed a little bit. I know that Skeleton has changed after their latest release. So there may unexpected slot default. If I hit, yeah, okay. So there's still some validation. I just need to clean up some of the skeleton stuff using their modal. But if I do updated 1, submit, there's a little transaction, sign, boom, get that. Here we are. This changed the memo, at least. You can go back, and it shows the entry count for this particular ledger. Okay, not bad. Now, if I try to say delete, again, some skeleton stuff. Are you sure you wish to delete? Yeah. Or if I hit cancel, yeah, I remember putting up a little toast. But let's delete 2. Cool. It will refund, closing all the accounts, and done. I could add like a toast. There's a bunch of notification I could add to this, but yeah. Let's see. Did a little prefetch. I do 200. Okay. Nice view. And once we get onto DevNet, we'll be able to see. I'll change this to let's do 50. Entry 2. Yeah, so it's transferring the 50 tokens back to the authority wallet. But for the ledger, yeah, here we are. It's keeping the timestamps and the running balance. Plus I can modify. Go back to that, and here we are. Yeah, so this is encouraging. This was kind of a key thing. I think previously I didn't know if the dataSize filter was needed when you're using Anchor and you have the Anchor program, because it can reference the IDL. So now I know. Another thing that I did notice was, yeah, here's the update, which runs all that stuff for us and re-triggers the load. But what I also realized is and this worked in this example, but just previously I need to actually remove this dappTokenMintStore. One of the issues is this store is only really set on the very first time I create a token, create the dappTokenMint. It sets it then, but really I need to rethink whether or not I use this store or not. So what I did instead is I've swapped this out to be a constant, because I've noticed that this pub key is the same again and again. So like whenever I would like reconnect the wallet or whatever, if the dappTokenMintStore wasn't set, then it's just null per the definition. So like when I defined it, think Dapp token, yeah, here it is. So after a wallet disconnects or reconnects, sometimes if I'm not initializing the mint, then this is going to be null. So then I was getting some errors about address being null, so it wasn't able to work. So instead, I went back and made a constant, and I have used that for most of them. Now there are the close entry did work. If I come in here and let's try to do Solflare 4 after these changes, should get another minting of supply. Approve. Yeah. One thing that I may need to consider is that I don't think I have it where, see my token balance, I've actually created 4 ledgers, so I've gotten 40,000 token, but then when I close the account or close the ledger, the tokens are still in the wallet, right? So that's probably not what we want. So that's something to address eventually. So hang on. Here we are. Token account, ledger token account info, ledger data, token mint address. So I think this is ledger token account info. Yeah, I don't think I think I could probably I feel like I can redo this one, because the authorities SPL token accounts were basically filtering to try to find the matching. I'm trying to see. So okay, so it helps us find the wallet's token account address. That's helpful. That's helpful. What else am I using it for? I'm just using it for the token account address. So yeah, so this makes me think that use an easier like get associated token sync between the wallet, which is the authority, and the new global. I feel like that probably could be something to do, because here I am, I'm only, what else are we doing here? We invalidate all. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. So it's just getting the associated token account. But if I already have the mint address as kind of like a fixed constant, then I feel like that should work. Yeah, so what would I do here? So if we closed the ledger, this may involve a little bit of changing the program instruction, where it takes the ledger's balance and transfers it back to the user. Or let's see, if I do instruction, what do you call it? Close ledger, yeah. Here we are. We perform the transfer from ledger token account to authority. So this part could potentially change. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's not that big of a deal. But you can basically just create a ledger, close it, create, close, and then then you've wiped out, you can basically drain the token supply if people really wanted to. Definitely something that I'm aware of. Let's see. Token account ledger. This may be something to, rather than a transfer, I wonder if, let's see, if it's not a transfer, because at this point the ledger it's the owner of the ledger's token account, which is a PDA, so it has this signing with a PDA. But I wonder if there is, rather than performing a transfer, maybe we perform a burn, but then that would involve the mint, the dappTokenMint, since the mint is its authority, right? So in the program, so yeah, so this is, yeah, something I need to look into. So it's a little bit different. So closing the account, originally we were just sending it back to the wallet, but yeah, maybe you need to instead burn supply. So there's always crap to address, but I feel like what's encouraging is that you can create ledgers. I can still create my entries. Here they are. I can still modify. It's filtering now based off of the wallet, and we discovered that was an issue with my data loading. So we can create this initialize the mint, the dappTokenMint, and do all these other actions so far. So let me look into some other fine-tuning. All right, so for a couple of things to refine, I went ahead and I was curious, could I simplify how I was finding the token mint address now that I have like a default main single mint? Long story short, I was able to get rid of this stuff and learned a little bit about allowOffCurve. So this function, the getAssociatedTokenAddressSync, has some optional arguments, and I thought I needed to pass in perhaps the program, but I didn't have to. But when I did, I was having some errors, and turns out that I just assumed getAssociatedTokenAddressSync was supposed to stay on the curve. But essentially, if you toggle this to be true, then it will work. But if it's false, you'll error out. So That was an interesting bit of learning. But yeah, I can simplify it. I basically just grab the associated address, token address for the wallet, and replace that. And now we're good to go. So if I want to, say for example, delete this, pops up, oh, hang on, pops up this. And so we have, you can see that it's going to refund the amount because we're closing out the account and refunding like rent and all that stuff. So hit OK, approve, and yeah, we're good. I could probably add some sort of like toast notification, but no more errors, which is great. Let's see. If I go and look at my balance, yeah, now I've created 2, and yeah. So I also looked at Skeleton's docs, and it looks like using their confirm modal, like this is the new styling. There's probably a way to override and make like consistent background or whatever, but functionality wise it's working. So one thing I did want to look at though was how to burn some supplies. So I'm going to bring this over. Let's see. There's a token instruction to burn. There's burn 1 and burn 2. I think the new burn 2 has this decimals field. So, but yeah, just thinking, okay, what would that look like? So let me find. It's going to be closeLedger, yeah. So currently, as I said, look into burn 2. So one idea, I'm not sure if this is a good idea, but rather than, again, this doesn't really prevent the user, I get it, from draining the supply, but it's at least an attempt to, just learn something else. So if I were to let's say I copy this and attempt to burn rather than transfer to your wallet. If I were to, I'm sure I'm breaking stuff, and I mean, for sure, breaking stuff. But let's see, rather than transfer, if I did burn, is there a burn 2? No? Okay, there's not. It's still the token account. Again, we are transferring from, the idea was to transfer from the ledger's token account where the ledger is the owner. But this time we're thinking about burning. And if we're burning, then it's the mint that is, that should be the kind of the signer. Yeah? So I haven't really, I'm going to try, I'm just curious. So rather than token transfer, we're going to do a burn. And let's see. So in this case, a burn, it takes a mint account. So one thing that I need is the mint and what else? Mint, maybe authority pub key. signer and amount. Amount, this is probably amount to burn. Huh. Yeah, we could get the amount from the existing ledger token account. The seeds would have to be different. So let's see. What does this thing take? That's a burn. Mint. Yeah, no, I don't have it in the validation struct just yet, but because this is the mint. Yeah, I'm curious. I don't know. I feel like this is. I feel like that should be the right deal. So token program. We need that, but then. I've got this right. So what is the account? The account is the it's gonna be our token account, right? Okay. Yeah, we're getting no such field. Yeah, mint. It's not called mint. It's called account pub key. I can do mint pub key, authority pub key. Signer pub keys. Not entirely sure. Don't know if I got this right. Hang on. I feel like I'm missing either an import or something. Hang on. Okay. Well, at the very least, I found. So I'm looking at the SPL token, but not the Anchor SPL crate, which is a wrapper around all of this. So here is the actual instruction, and the Anchor SPL does take mint and from and then authority, so it's a little bit different, its structure. So the mint, let's see. Mint, I understand. The from, I'm assuming this is the actual token account. So it's really this. Have it mint, the ledger token account, the authority. The authority is going to be the ledger ledger itself in this case. Okay. Obviously I'm missing a mint account, but the authority seeds, is it the, let's see. So the token account, its owner is the ledger PDA itself. But I wonder if this authority is meant to be the mint account, since we've set the mint authority to be the mint itself, thanks to the whole using a PDA for the mint to store the mint account and use that PDA as the mint's authority. So I'm assuming it's probably the mint itself rather than the authority of the token account. Let me look. My hunch is that this has to be the ledger, the token account owner. Otherwise, that would be like you drop some supply of some token, and then the token owner, so, the mint owner authority can, I don't know, burn the supply that's in your token account. So if that's the case, then these ledger seeds should be the same to sign as the authority, So basically what this is doing versus transferring, which transferring was literally transferring from the ledger token account to the wallet, signing with the ledger PDA seeds. Instead we're just burning. So let's give that a shot. All right, so let's add in the mint. So it's also account mute seeds being the PDA. I think it's dappTokenMint, and that's it. Yeah. Bump ledger. Am I? I don't know if I am. Hang on. Let me look. Forget. Let me find. Create dappTokenMint. All right. It's just that single seed itself is the authority, all that good stuff, but what else I got? Create ledger. Let's see. Should be able to grab it just like this. So there's no other, there's no other yeah. Let's try that. I don't know if I need it to be mutable, really. And with the seeds equals true, Anchor should be able to derive for me. I'm trying to think. Will this, maybe there's some, I mean, we are messing with the supply. So perhaps this needs to be, perhaps. Can I throw in a mint? No complaints there. Yeah. So and then what that would do is it would allow me to grab the mint itself. Yeah. I have no idea. Haven't worked with this stuff before. So before, I mean, really the only thing that I've added that's different is this. So I'm going to close down this one, and let me boot up. Let's see, I've got close, just looking at my test. So like if I, when I rebuild, let me go ahead and get this rebuilding. But when I have my test, currently the handle closeLedger, what else am I doing in here? Oh yeah, that's right, I've got some account checks, like on the balances afterwards. So when we close the account, yeah, that will throw a little bit of a different deal. Because really, let's see. This is the way to go. Hang on. So, bear with me on this. But a user wallet connects, creates a ledger, does some entries, whatever, but then closes. It burns. Yeah, so then the user, the authority, won't have the balance. I'm just, talking out loud. So just trying to figure out this initial authority token account balance. Really, there's no, we're just burning. So I wonder if, for the sake of like testing, so like update so let's see. This one really should have no change. Its final should equal initial. Yeah? Just something like that. There's nothing else. I mean, obviously we still want to check that the ledger is truly closed, so there's no account there. But then here is a balance check. So just thinking out loud here. Let's see. Hang on. So we've made some changes to our program. So, and we've built and deployed, but what I'm going to do now is, So I have this shell scripts. Yeah, so if I do cat scripts and this one, you can kind of see for yourself this simple copying over the JSON. Anchor does the TypeScript stuff for me, but for the Vercel stuff, I needed to move it all inside of app. So we've built and deployed these new changes, no errors with that, so that's cool. I mean, I'm just changing a little bit inside of the closeLedger. So let's do Solana logs, get that going, and then over here, yeah, I guess we could try it. Let me just double check my tests. If this is handle closeLedger, and what do? I've got a couple of those. Handle closeLedger right here. Let's see if this works. Oops. Anchor run, just the ledger test only. Let's see. Hey. Doesn't look as if scrolling back up, but the very first right here. closeLedger. Yeah. Final authority token account balance. Let's go up further. I may have looking at the wrong one. I saw one, but yeah, all right, so bear with me for a second. Let's see, create ledger, mint, it's doing all these things. Closing ledger here. Ledger 6, yeah. I think it just created ledger 5, yeah. Okay. All right, so let's go back and look at this. So if my creating ledger up at the top, here's this one, creating this. So if these are the two that have been created, I should have 20,000. Okay. But then I create it and then close it. I really need to see what the balance is right here. Yeah, need to see what the balance is. Because this actually is maybe incorrect. I don't know if it actually did it. Initial authority. Curious. Just curious. because I'm not sure if anything got burned at all. And to simplify things, what I'm going to do, save this. Where's the rest? We'll see on that. I'll leave this expect, though I'm not sure. But what I could do is, just for the sake of simplifying my logs, I'm going to remove let's see. Yeah, I'm going to remove all of these. Let me make sure I'm on the right. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, let's remove this for now, just to double check that we're actually burning the supply. So same kind of deal. But yeah, this should really, at this point, this should leave me with 10,000. Me meaning this user wallet right here. Its token account balance should only be 20. I mean, here should be, 20. But then at this point, after it's done, should be back to 10. If that, well, hang on. Hang on. I don't know if I've got my burn set up, right? Because we're talking about the the mint and from and authority. This should be coming from, this should be the actual wallet as the authority. I'm pretty sure. Never worked with burn before, obviously, so but we're learning. Let's see. Yeah, you know what? This isn't, thinking about this, this is not, yeah, of course the authority token account balance is that. Yeah. So how to handle that? Do we, oops, got that going before we build. Let's see. So, yeah, this the way that I've set it up is not right. This authority token account, I am right to, then like it should be less, I guess. I mean, it should be less, but what I'm thinking about is the actual instruction. So closing ledger. So let me see. I can't actually burn. Hang on. I can't burn token supply out of the authority's wallet token, like the wallet's token account, until we actually transfer it back. So maybe. Maybe I actually first transfer, you know, like transfer from the ledger to the authority. I don't know if this makes the right sense, but if all those token accounts are okay. All right, I think I got it. So when I create a ledger, the tokens, the authorities, the wallet gets minted supply, 10,000 every time for each ledger. Here, when I close this close ledger instruction, it closes down the ledger's token account balance, if there is any, and it transfers it to the authority. But then but if I like just create and then close, the authority's just gotten 10,000, but the ledger itself, this token account amount right here is 0, because I haven't done, like, the wallet hasn't transferred any tokens, no entries to the ledger token account itself. So perhaps if there's anything in the token account, we first take those tokens, transfer it to the authority wallet. We already have that. But then perform a burn equal to the amount that we had. Is this the right sequence? So you transfer from the ledger token account to the authority's token account, but you want to burn the equivalent amount. And actually, what do you want to burn? Amount to burn, actually. Maybe it's not. Which maybe this is like the mint supply, amount. It's like the default mint supply amount. So rather than, because this token account, if you're checking out that token account's balance or amount at this point in time in sequence, my understanding that this would be 0 because we've just cleared it out right up here with this transfer. And plus, if I've only transferred at 50, I will actually want to wipe out the full 10K. So rather than that, I want to do the default mint, which is like a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I don't think I have anything in the state. If I look at ledger, don't do anything there. In my mint supply instruction, I have it as an instruction data, like how much to mint. So minting supply. Yeah. When I look at my test and how much I'm doing here. Where's my test? Yeah. I have some constants. So yeah, mint supply raw. Yeah, that's the same amount. I wonder. Yeah. That's the question. So yeah, do we transfer whatever there is in the ledger from the ledger token account to the authority, and then we burn that amount from the authority? Problem is, you know, what if there's not enough? So you create a ledger, transfer the tokens out of your token account to some other wallet, then you try to close the ledger. It will empty out whatever token account is, what token balance is in the ledger, but then it will attempt to burn, and there may not be enough. Yeah. Again, this all is really just, you know, just considering like, you know, how to manage the token and prevent, you know, a wallet essentially draining all the token supply, and then you don't have. I mean, I guess as the mint authority, you could always just change it, perhaps, but looking for kind of more robust approaches. But I think, just to kind of finish what we've started, let's just see, assuming that I'm not, you know, acting in a nefarious way or malicious way, let's just kind of see what can be done. So we have, I think I've already done it, but let's start the validator and let's rebuild. And because I've made these changes, and because I've now have a transfer instruction authorized by the ledger, and then hang on, actually this burn instruction it should actually be the this should be the authority. Yeah, so the mint, and not from the token account. Yeah, sorry, I'm not done yet. So this is actually the authority's token account, and then the authority, right? So I'm pretty sure that would be the way. So this time it's not a CPI, it's not signed by the, let me double check that I have the authority. I've got ledger, yeah, as a signer. Token account, mint, sure. And the authority token account. Yeah. So what that means is that this is not a this is just a straight up standard CpiContext. Yeah. Expected 2 arguments found 3. We don't think we need that. We need a burn and the amount. Yeah. Do I need... It's been a while since I've actually... Not a while, but... authority... Okay. Yeah. I think we needed to redo that. Yeah, and then with the authority, that's that. So now let's rebuild and also copy over the IDLs. All right, so now got everything rebuilt, copied over. Yeah, cool. All right, so yeah, actually, this was, it looks like it's gonna work because look, assertion error, it expected this to equal. So yeah, my assertion that initial balance is incorrect, right? But it, in fact, it needed 10,000, not 20,000. So if I go down, and I still ran like a bunch of these other ones because I had uncommented them back. But let's look at this one. Handle closeLedger. Here it is. We're going to get the initial token balance. We get the ledger balance. We get the authorities. This is in our test. Again, this is not in the front end just yet. We're first testing out this burn option. But basically, what we want to check what did I have? I had the final authority. The original was, it's the initial plus whatever that initial ledger token account balance was. But actually, what I need, same kind of thing, almost. But now, rather than that, I need, what do I need? I need the mint supply raw amount, right? Do I have that? Mint supply raw. Right? Because our tests look, I mean, this is all in raw units. So we take what we have. Yeah, we take what we have initially. We get back what the ledger has, if anything. And then we minus the the default amount. That should get us back to the correct amounts. So let me get that going. Actual was that. Okay. So the first close it was the error was here. All right, and again, so it's actually I closed out my front end, the Vite server for now, just to give me a little bit more room on these logs. So what's actually happening here is that it closed and it burned correctly. So we're making progress. This issue is actually coming from my other helper, which is this verifyMintSupply. And this was just initially keeping track of, okay, here's the address, our default amount for whenever we mint. And then I was using basically every time it mints, this is the handleMintDappTokenSupply. So every time it does this, I just had this little helper totalMintCount and increment it. However, when we burn, it's really based off of the number of ledger accounts. So like when you create an account or close an account, then that's going to affect the total supply. So for example, I go into this thing, it's just the mint and the amount, and basically we get the latest mint details, and you have this supply, which is a big int value, and it's like all the supply that's been out there. But this burn command does exactly that. It burns. It completely permanently reduces that token amount from the supply. So I definitely needed, earlier I was questioning, do I need, when I add the mint account to the validation struct for closing ledger and making it mutable? Heck yeah, obviously, because we are burning supply. So that answers that. But back to this, it's really gets a little trickier because I can't rely on total mint count. Instead, I'd have to count how many, however many I mint, sure, but this verify, whenever I start closing accounts, closing ledgers, I could add again a couple more globals, total ledgers count, and then increment, so in the handle, create ledger, I have another global. So whenever it successfully does that here, I could, let, total ledgers count plus, and then the close account do that. So let's see. Again, this is for testing. I think there may be, again, just kind of going through it, there may be a reason to consider another state account to kind of keep track of this stuff. But for now, we can just use some globals and do that. So let me set this up. Okay, so what I did is I've created a total. Again, this is not best practice. I don't like it, but I have added this total ledger count. And so basically every time that I create, so if I go over here, every time that I create a new ledger or close a ledger, I just update this value. Yeah, nothing beyond that. But if I, for the sake of verifying the mint supply, rather than using total mint count, I'm using the total ledger count, and I'm keeping track of the total mint global just for now for these tests. Again, yeah, we'll see. I may have to rethink this later, but just to get it working. So that said, let me get everything booted up. All right. Yeah, super cool. Super cool. And you can see it. So hey, we're burning tokens. You can see the instruction coming through as burn and then closing the account. But also in our test, I've got them all running, and what we can see is I've got just some logs, the initial token account balance as we're closing. The initial balance is this. As we know, we're transferring whatever is in the ledger token account back to the authority, and then we burn. So essentially this is adding back, 70 or something like that. It's getting back to the 28,000. And then we come here and, minus the default mint supply raw amount, and we're left with this balance. So that's working. Changes for sure, but let's go back and look at the close ledger. So essentially what we've done here is I'm gonna do update /2 point. But basically, here are the steps. So this is 3. This is 2. And 1. Yeah. So you transfer from the ledger token account, whatever is in there, that amount. We then burn 10,000, or the equivalent of a raw amount. Probably could turn this into a global constant somewhere. May do that later, but and then we use the ledger as the authority to perform the close account. So yeah, and that's good. And we definitely need the mint to be mutable since we're modifying its supply, performing the burn. So that's good. Tests work. Now, if I go back to here and we handle close, let's see, handle close. we're not doing any of those checks, yada yada yada. Yeah, let me get the front end booted up again. Okay, so after a couple of quick changes, I've got everything booted up, got the mint going. Let's create one more. And we can see that it's initializing the ledger and it's minting token supply to the wallet. So if I go into my account, I'm seeing this, and I have this ATA address right here. I like Solflare. It's pretty good, especially for dev. It shows some good stuff. So let's go into this one. Make sure I can still. Let's do 500. I'll do entry 1. Yeah, deducting 500. There we go. And creating an entry account. Modify. Yeah, this is all still working. Let's do updated 1. Took a little second. Hit approve. Cool. Cool. If I go back and if I look at my balance, I've got 29.5. Okay. Let's close out. Let's delete ledger 2. Okay, it's even showing, yeah. Minus that amount, hit approve. And Solflare 2, the ledger's gone. And yeah, 19.5. Cool, all right. So that's working. We're able to burn. I need to, add some toast notifications around, essentially. But yeah, that's this is great. So what I could do is the setup on click. Yeah, essentially. What I could do is go back. I could create like some sort of helper, and meaning like some sort of global mint account. Dapp token mint has been created, and then throw like all of this inside of an if. So let me do that real fast. Okay, so what I'm gonna try to do, and I think it's gonna work, is I've added a new fetch to my LayoutLoad. So using the load function, just thinking about like when would be a good time to update or know that we have a token mint created. Well, I'm trying to think of a way to maybe use this dappTokenMintStore that I created. And so one of the ideas, and this is kind of, do I look for this? Do I get the mint in my the LayoutLoad? Or do I do it inside the layout svelte component? I think the LayoutLoad works better because it can use async and await the async fetch, as well as anytime I create a ledger or an entry or whatnot, I'm using SvelteKit's invalidate all, and so it will rerun these load functions. So with that said, I've kind of opted to do something like this, where it's basically if I if the wallet store isn't available, then we just return, because when you're connecting and stuff, it takes a few cycles. But once it's available, just do a standard fetch or get mint. We have the connection, because I can manually rebuild the anchor program using the connection, and then I'm rebuilding it like that. So yeah, basically fetch the dappTokenMint, and I'm updating the store for now. Again, not entirely sure how I'm going to use this, but this may be a good example. So what I've done here is just kind of for consistency's sake of keeping track of where I'm loading it, LayoutLoad dappTokenMint, and then I fetch this. So what this means is that in my page where I have the LayoutLoad data, you can see over here when we do that, we have the dappTokenMint. And then it shows supply and whatnot, and it's got 20,000 for the supply because we have 2 ledger accounts. So yeah, I think this could be a good case. So then the idea again, like, why am I doing all this? Well, we have the setup method, right? So my idea is, like if what sort of deal? Yeah, so if dappTokenMintStore .mint, like if there's not a value there, then I could see showing that. Is that right? Yeah. Syntax for the template stuff. But so like if there's a mint, like an actual mint account, then, and if I really wanted to, I could say not null, but basically hide this button. So let me see. So let me reboot this so then I can test this out. Okay, so we've rebooted, got the wallet connected. Let's do some tokens. So now if we go here, I've restarted the validator, so it shouldn't have the mint just yet. So let's see. Okay, getting this nice little error. Okay, so what I did is I added a try catch on this one, because obviously if it's the first time getting initialized, it's not gonna work because there's no token account. Yeah, I have the pub key that's been used again and again, but there's no account there. So catching that, if that's the case, which it does catch the error on the first time. So then I went to Ledger, and I've actually need to reset this, but it was there set up. When I first loaded it, caught this error. And then I scrolled down, like I'm just scrolling down, but then I went to the ledger and I hit setup, which had the button here. It hid the button. It derived the dappTokenMint PDA and grabbed it, and then did some, like a cycle of reload on the data loading, and we have it. So that works essentially. Doing all that. Basically what's happening is that, yeah, there's no token account the very first time you initialize it. So I had to use this kind of try catch I may change this up if necessary, but I think Soulfire 1, everything, and let's now create, okay, let's try this again. Yeah, sign the transaction, here we go. Yeah, ledger is successful, and now we mint some token supply. So if I kind of navigate, and let me clear out my console, but if I navigate away, this is a completely different IDL because I've got multiple different programs running. So it's swapped the IDL. If I then click back on Ledger, all kinds of stuff happens. Wallet store, workspace store, the data was triggered. And here we are. It shows the LayoutLoad dappTokenMint supply of 10,000. Okay, so if I clear this out again, create another, creating a whole nother account, hit approve, get more minted supply. There we are. So again, if I navigate away to a different IDL, basics, anything, go back to Ledger. Let's clear this first. Yeah, this page, this layout load is working, and it shows, yeah, supply. Here we are. So yeah, this seems to be a decent spot to do this. Obviously, I could, rather than making this function like this, I could also consider doing like a dappTokenMintStore. Let me put it over here. I could also consider adding like a get, little helper attached to this custom store. And then inside of my data loading, I just run it, and it, fetches and sets the dappTokenMintStore values. But yeah, so I feel like we're there. I feel like we've got a PDA. We have a mint that's a PDA. We can create ledgers. I can create entries. I can close ledgers. I've now added the feature of burning the supply out of the authority's wallet associated token account. So that was easy, or easier than I thought. Not too bad. Let's see what we have. Still keeps track of ledgers based on the wallet, the connected wallet. And yeah, I mean, there's obviously some more checks, things I could do around limiting the number of ledgers or the amount of supply that's minted. Still the issue of, when we try to burn, if the associated token account doesn't have that amount of supply, then that's an issue. So those are things I can mull over, but the bulk of all this functionality of replacing the mint as a key pair and making it as a PDA is really quite cool. I think that's it's a much more cleaner approach, I believe. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of merge what I've got with my main, and next what I'll do is get all this merged up and deploy this new program on DevNet to update what we have. So that is coming next.